Welcome to the CULTSHOW.
Kelly's holding my Freddy. That's weird. He didn't have a hole in his bottom before Kelly started. Before she started playing with it.
There we go.
Nice. Okay, should we start then?
We should.
Or are we already starting? What are you talking?
I know. I'm like, we're already kind of doing it.
Where are you
aren't
going?
we?
Yeah, you have my Freddy Krueger doll still. So
He's spreading his
I
legs.
guess, I guess
on
I
me.
lost all authority and parental rights to the Freddy Krueger doll. Oh well, we'll have him back. So yeah, welcome everyone to our first episode of the CULTSHOW.
Oh, we are actually rolling.
We're rolling.
Oh, that's great.
We've been
Okay.
rolling.
Good.
So every time you picked your nose. Anyway, so this really is our video podcast, we'll call it, of the CULTSHOW.
Call it that, yes.
So
and
our-
what is the
the
CULTSHOW?
CULTSHOW.
What is the CULTSHOW?
We're just three people who wanted to come together and talk about movies and pop culture and everything that we enjoy about it.
And what is
So-
this on your shirt? What is that?
Oh, what is
Cult
this? I
film
don't know.
series.
For
Why don't
everyone
you
who's
tell
listening and
us
can't
about
see,
that, Neil?
this is, yeah, I'm wearing, it says the Cult Film Series at the Roxy 14.
Oh.
So that is a film series that we actually have every other Thursday, basically. That is a fun movie night. People come out and watch movies from the 80s and 70s and even 90s.
At
And
the lovely Roxy Stadium 14.
at the Roxy 14,
cinemas.
although we've been under construction the past couple months. We had to be at the
That's
3rd Street
right.
Cinema across
Okay.
the street.
Yeah.
But typically it does happen at the Roxy 14. And this is kind of like a companion show, we'll call it, to the film series.
Right.
So people who come to the show can now listen online and get even more of us.
It's like the
because-
extra bonus to the
It
Cult
is,
Show.
you know,
the Cult
but-
Show is a box of cereal. We're like the little code breaker thing inside.
With a prize. There used to
With
be
a
prizes in
prize.
cereals.
That's what I'm
Do
saying.
you
Yeah, the
remember
little
when cereals
toy.
had real things in them?
Yes.
Prizes?
Yeah.
Like-
I mean, they weren't, well.
They used to be great.
Really?
I remember Captain Crunch had, I must have been 5 years old, I remember this, had a little glow-in-the-dark plastic skeleton.
Ooh.
And it was a pirate skeleton. And it had
Even
like
better.
joints that were kind of like, you know, one of those kind of things.
Yeah.
They would just, yeah, do that. So it would
No,
shimmy.
that's the thing. You used to pick your cereal based on
Based
the
on the
prize,
prize,
Yes,
yeah.
that's
not
true.
on the
That's
not on
true.
the cereal. you know.
Absolutely. That's
So-
that's a fact. But
You know,
and
you would walk down the cereal aisle and look at every single box
Yeah,
and see
you're
what
like,
was in it.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you're like, I want that one,
seriously.
but I
So-
never
Do
got to
they
do that. So
Do
I
they
wasn't
still
allowed
have
sugar cereal.
Toys in cereal boxes? I hate to say.
I
don't
don't
know.
I don't think so.
No.
I
No.
don't know.
No, I mean with the kids now, a lot of the things I see is like you can get books,
Yeah.
Or make like a free music download.
you know, or a music download,
something.
or you know, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I buy a lot of corn pops because that's like my jam.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I
your thing.
shovel corn pops in my face constantly.
Okay.
So people at work are always like, "Oh, there he is eating corn pops
Oh,
again."
there's me on the
'Cause
corn
they hear,
popper. Yeah.
I mean, the lady,
Gotta have my pops. Dun-dun.
the girl outside my office is always like, you know, "What are you eating in there? I can hear you crunching from here." So, anyway,
I feel a sneeze coming up.
oh, she's gonna sneeze. That's really inappropriate during a podcast.
No.
I know that.
Yeah, that's-
Let's wait and see how bad it is. She got a sneeze
No,
face.
it's-
What's your sneeze face, Kelly?
I know. Limp Bizkit free zone, sneeze free zone. All right,
we
we've
do
been
like-
recording for 10 minutes and we've already like come up with 2 rules.
Should we do the sneeze freeze? Like freeze frame on someone's face if they're about to sneeze?
that'd be awesome.
And then compare the shots, like
Yeah,
who has a better
let's do
sneeze face.
We'll see if your husband happens to go, "Oh yeah, I know that face."
I recognize that.
But could you do the 80s effects where it freezes and then it like spins off?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
talking
Yep.
about? I don't know what
Like
that's
a
called.
tumbling square. Yeah.
So I guess we should probably say who
So,
we are. Like I mean, like our
yes,
names. So
yeah.
let's start with you because you are the prettiest here.
Oh well, I
Next to
mean,
Caleb.
I did. Those
I know,
ladies did say you were a
I was about
handsome
to get
young
all
man.
through,
So,
And that's true.
so I'm Kelly Hitman, the hit woman,
The hitman.
the hitman, the hit woman.
I love your last name, by the way.
Thank
So
you.
Good
I
for
do
you for marrying
too.
a guy
I-
that has that last name. Like
Yes.
Caleb and I would look for cereals. She looked for a guy based on his last name.
I did. Yeah,
So-
yeah, for sure.
You found a keeper.
I did find a keeper. He's amazing. Yes, I married the hitman. I've also worked in horror films. So I'm an actor, and I've been acting my whole life, whether in stage, screen, you name it.
Yeah.
Music videos, commercials, all
She's
the
acting like
above.
she likes us right now.
So I'm just really, working on my craft here. So I've worked in horror films as an actor. I also enjoy writing. I've recently kind of started writing my own horror stuff. So yeah, trying to see what I can do with that. But you've probably seen Insidious, which I was in. That's like my big claim to fame as doll girl #1.
That was a good doll girl.
Thank you.
That's doll girl #1, sitting right here next to me.
Right here in the flesh. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes, that
it's a
was
pleasure to have
definitely-
you as one of our
Thank
people
you,
talking about
thank
this
you.
stuff because it's just kind of fun to meet kindred folks who love pop culture
course.
and horror films, which we love.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the fact
I
that
just-
you've been in them.
Exactly.
Makes it
I
even
love
more
them and
cool.
I've been in them. And it was just, so awesome getting to work on that film. James Wan is incredible. I was a huge fan of Saw when it first came out. I saw it here at this theater on Halloween night when it came out. And so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Well,
what
it's
about
good. It's
you?
fun.
Like, what's your deal?
My deal, geez, I don't know. I'm just a crazy guy that, for whatever reason, we're all born, I think, to.
We were all born.
We were all born.
We were all born.
We were all born. I was
Yeah.
born when I was young. I don't know if you guys know that, but
Benjamin Button,
But
or
you
were
were
you born
born
old?
From work.
right. When I was born when I was a young
I
lad.
love that show. Oh my gosh.
My mom exploded, man. But I just, I love movies and pop culture-y stuff, but movies especially I've always loved.
Yeah.
And I just grew up as I grew up as a young child. As a young child, I grew up loving how they make movies and loving everything about
Just the process.
the process of the
yeah.
movies, and I always knew who directed it and what studio released it and who acted in them and I mean all these weird things that none of my friends had a clue about.
Yeah. So were you always kind of a trivia nut? Was that a big thing for you?
Yeah.
Nice.
In fact, I
Nice.
remember like in 7th grade, I think maybe we used to have to write in our journals in English class.
Yeah.
And I started challenging my English teacher to make sure she was actually reading them to a trivia contest in movies.
Nice.
So I actually wrote like
Oh my gosh.
I love movies and so ask me any question, I'll answer it kind of thing. And
Ask me anything.
So she actually did respond. She asked me a question about I
Nice.
think who played Chloe in the Big Chill or something like
All
that.
right. Good job,
the fact that I remember this
teacher.
stuff is pretty
Yeah.
incredible. I
That's-
have a bad
that's
memory. You'll
awesome.
learn that about me also.
So like
But-
bad short-term memory, but really great long-term.
Yeah, something like
I
that,
feel like I'm the
exactly.
same way. Like
So-
I can recall things that happened when I was 3 years old, but if someone asked me like, "Oh, don't forget to like grab that thing at the store on your way home," it's
Yeah,
gone,
exactly.
gone.
If my phone doesn't beep and tell me where to go,
yeah,
I don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know about it.
Yeah,
so.
no, I'm totally the
Anyway,
same way.
Yeah. So I'm just a guy who loves movies, and I got lucky enough to work in
Yeah.
a industry where there are movie theaters, at my disposal.
Yeah.
So we started the Cult Film series because I love those films, and I get to talk in front of those movies with everyone. And
Yeah, I love the fact that we have it here in Santa Rosa. I mean, since I was saying I worked as an actor, so I was living down in LA for several years, and there's an amazing horror scene down there. But
Yeah.
it's so cool to see that blossoming up here as well.
Well, I like
So
to
it's-
think that Santa
horror fans are all
Rosa.
over the place.
I
It's
know.
like,
It's becoming the Hamlet of horror.
yeah.
Is what I like to think,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we got this, and there's podcasts and TV shows that are all done out of Santa Rosa now that
Yes,
all
yeah.
skew on horror, and it's kind
I know.
of. We did our film festival. I mean, we've had
Silver
some big
Screen,
names here
yes.
of horror. So I mean,
Yeah.
Robert Englund and John Landis and all these cool people. Barbara Crampton, they've all been here. So I think we're trying to
Yeah.
turn Santa Rosa into a little Hamlet of
The little
horror.
Hamlet of horror,
You
yeah.
know, we love it, and I love these movies, and I love meeting people at our film series and talking to them. It's been the
Yeah.
greatest part of doing it is how many cool people there are that have become family,
Yeah.
and just talking to them.
It's not just the movies too. I mean, the books, TV, comic books. I mean, just
Yeah.
the genre. Video games.
Video games,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean everything. So, but anyway, that's
Yeah.
that's kind of what we're doing. So we're going to talk about cool stuff and
Merch. I like the horror merch.
Merch, yeah, she likes the Freddy doll.
I'm getting attached.
I know
to
she
it.
won't give it back to me.
I know.
I'm getting kind of sad.
He's so cute. He's cute and
I think
good.
you can kiss him goodbye, Neil.
So speaking of that, let's talk to Caleb sitting over here
so
drinking
where's
his
that
drink.
Mystery voice.
This is
coming
Caleb.
from? Yeah.
He's our good friend behind the mic.
Heyo.
So, Caleb, just real quick, I guess. What do you like, man?
What do I like?
Who
I
are
know
you?
you guys have been talking about horror, and that's not really my thing. I mean, it's okay. Don't get me wrong. You know, I can already feel your hate coming at me. Like, how dare you not like? You know, I'm just. It's not really something I grew up with. You know, so. But the 80s, obviously, I was born in the 70s, so the 80s was very, very, very influential to me. You know, like the Raiders of the Lost Ark and Star Wars, which was 70s, but, you know, Empire Strikes Back, Back to the Future, you know, all those things. Like, that's my childhood, you know. It's probably yours too.
Yeah. Raiders of the Lost Ark,
know,
huge
and-
piece of my life. Back to the
So-
Future, huge piece of my life.
Yeah.
E.T., that was a big one when I was.
Right.
Caleb and I have known each other for a super long time. I guess it's over half our lives.
Over half of our
So,
lives.
but
'cause
just
we-
Yeah.
barely though.
Oh,
But,
just barely? All right. We're not aging ourselves.
no one needs to know
not
how
at
old
all.
we are. Don't look at the gray
Yeah.
hairs.
Pay no
or,
attention to the gray behind the curtain.
But yeah, Caleb and
That's
I
why
are,
he has the mic
Yeah, that's why I'm
screen
hiding
there.
behind the microphone.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not really.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
somehow Caleb talked us into letting him hide behind a mic. But yeah, so and he's also monitoring our audio as we're going along. That's why he's got those cool headphones on. You can show everyone your headphones are right now because you are on camera.
Those are pretty cool.
Surprise! But he's a little shy, but I think he'll come along and
No.
you know we've asked him to try and be on the couch, but he just kind of wants to sit up there for now until he gets until he learns how to stop knocking water over. So
It's true. You know. Tell you what, I'll do it if you hold me like Kelly is holding Freddie.
Oh.
we can do that.
That I'd like
so
to
it wouldn't
see,
be the first time.
Yes.
So you know, usually he's never mind. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So
Yeah, so we didn't even touch on the other genres that we like, because I realize we're sounding like that's all we watch is
Right.
horror, which is so not true.
That's
I
not
mean,
all we are going to be talking
exactly. We're covering it all.
about. We're going to
so,
We
do
are.
musicals. We're going to do action movies. We're going to
Yes.
do
I love that you said
comedies.
musicals first.
We're going to do, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to do it all.
Yeah.
yes, because Kelly.
Musicals hits me
I know. I
right
love
here. Oh my
musicals too.
gosh.
If you look around our beautiful basement down here, you might see a musical. One of my favorite musicals. Somewhere hiding up there, a little fan bill for it, if you will. So. But we won't get that away now. That'll come up. I'm sure
I'm
everyone will tease me
curious.
about it later on.
Yeah.
when,
Okay.
when the time
okay.
comes.
Yeah.
So we haven't done is we haven't talked about Halloween. How was everyone's Halloween? Because we're about a,
not
a
the
month
movie,
past
the
Halloween.
actual-
No, yeah, I'm sorry, the actual
holiday.
You can whatever you want, rip
I
it
was
off
just
for
getting
everyone.
really excited about my
but
Halloween shirt. But
but the holiday. How was everyone's holiday? Caleb, how was your Halloween?
My Halloween was, it was okay. It was all right. I dressed up as Marty McFly.
Cool.
And then I went home and I handed out candy to about maybe 10 kids.
Okay.
oh.
Not a lot.
Kelly,
It is.
how about you? How
Yeah,
your
ours
Halloween?
was actually pretty low key as well. We played a little horror trivia game.
Oh, wow.
Segue into a little merch talk.
Nice.
So yeah, so we all played Trivial Pursuit, the horror edition.
Nice.
Can we get a zoom
Plug,
in on that?
plug,
Like holding
plug.
it, so yes.
Not yet.
Not
but
yet, not
that's,
yet.
You know, because we're still freshmen.
But I
We have a freshman camera.
exactly. But I absolutely love this game. The whole family had fun. At first, they were some of them were like, "Oh, you know, I'm not sure if I'll be good at this. I don't know enough about horror." But once we started playing, they actually got really into it, and
Okay.
they knew some of the answers, and
So we should test that out later. Is what you're saying?
we might have to.
Okay.
It's I will say it is pretty challenging. There's some good questions in there, but it's a great party game and fun for the whole family.
What about you? What'd you do?
Well, you know, actually, my Halloween started. I went to the doctor.
Uh-oh.
Because I had a growth in an area that we don't usually want growths, typically.
Do you ever want to grow with it? Well, I guess some people do.
It depends what's going on.
Man, I like
Dang, Kelly.
I dug
That's a
myself
personal question.
right into a hole with that
Oh
one.
man.
Yeah.
So no, when you use pumps, it just happens. So you know it's okay.
I mean the shoes, like the Reebok.
Yeah, that's what I meant exactly.
Yeah, keep it family friendly.
That's what I meant. Anyway, so I went and finally got a doctor's appointment. That's a whole story because my doctor, I would call my doctor and they said, "Oh yeah, we're not even in that office anymore. He moved." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks for even letting me know. I guess you think that's something you let me know."
Yeah.
It's like he was gone, so I had to call and get a new doctor. And I finally got an appointment.
Okay.
It took like a week and a half. And they said Halloween. I'm like, great. So I go in. and the guy, makes me get down to nothing.
His
Basically,
gaze?
puts me in the gown.
Yeah.
Because he wants to check out everything, which I guess is fine. 'Cause when you get a certain age, as he explained to me, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 44. Am I 44? Yes, I'm 44. Thank
Okay.
you. I can't remember
For
anymore.
a few more months.
Thank you. He's like, when you hit that age, over 40, you got to start, getting things checked. I'm like, okay. And so he's like, can you roll over? So I'm laying on the table. I'm like, okay.
It's
And
like
then-
asking, do tricks roll over?
yeah, right.
Roll over, sit.
No, but then I hear that
Oh.
of the rubber glove.
That's never good.
And I'm like, oh man, I really didn't come here for this. And then
For this!
so I got a trick or treat. I got a treat, or a trick. I'm not sure to who it is, but so I got a Halloween prostate exam.
All
A
right.
very unexpected Halloween start to my Halloween. So anyway, I'm just finally sitting down for the first time after all that. But anyway, so that was how my Halloween started. I got
Wow.
So how did
So-
it end?
You know what's
Yeah.
funny? I didn't even.
he found some candy corn, which is really weird. So, but,
Still there from last year.
That's right.
That's where that
That's where I
went.
keep it.
yes. I forgot to mention I had a
Keeps it
dentist
fresh.
appointment too, so we both had kind of a medical situation
okay.
going on in Halloween. Yeah,
but it's more weird if your dentist is in that same area. So.
I don't have teeth down there, unlike that one film.
that movie?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't. Yeah,
Well, not that your
exactly.
dentist should be looking at
Exactly.
that either, though. But
Yeah, but no, I had a dentist appointment. All
everything
clear.
good?
No,
Your teeth
no
okay?
cavities. My gums were looking better than ever, which is
nice.
great because yeah.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
But yeah, glad to. So you all clear? All
Yeah, they did a bunch of blood tests and did the usual
growth was totally.
thing, and then it was just like blocked glands and nothing
Okay,
cancerous.
okay.
That's what he says at least. So.
Well, that's good. I'm
But,
glad to hear
yeah, and
that.
my prostate is clear. I'm all good to go for another
Awesome.
another year.
Yeah.
I could have told you that.
Whoa. There you go. There's Caleb. Caleb's our resident.
So how's your medical
sodomite.
history?
Not talking about it on this.
Oh, really? I just let everyone know about my little brown eye circumstance, and so Caleb won't give forth. Anyway, so beyond that, I actually did give out candy to children as well. I do a big haunted house thing at my house where I have animatronic guys.
Oh, that's fun.
And I have
you're
projection
that house.
things.
You're
yeah,
that
I am that
house.
house. People come
Love that.
from far and wide, near and far and wide. Anyway.
Deep and wide?
Deep and
I don't
wide.
know.
There's a
They come
fountain
from
flowing
wherever.
Deep and wide.
And yeah, so I stand out there. I don't even I actually stand there with the bowl the whole night, and I just scare kids when I can. And anyway, I love to do that. So yeah. Halloween is I love Halloween. It's my favorite. But other than that, yeah, it was good. It was fun. So
Awesome.
so speaking of all that though, what are we watching tonight?
Speaking of-
What is our movie that we're going to
Speaking of
talk
Halloween.
about? Halloween. You keep flashing.
I
don't know what's
just
going
really
on.
like this T-shirt. Okay. Oh.
So are we watching Halloween? Is that what you're saying? We're watching
We
the original?
certainly could. Oh yeah.
I think we should.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Let
It's
me
the
just,
40th anniversary. She's going to go pull the Halloween. Hang on. Let me turn that so
Let
you
me
can
go
see.
back to the.
Can you reach?
Hey, I'm tiny. Can you show off the
Halloween? Okay, that is
show off the artwork
That's
there.
the original Halloween.
We're watching this
Yeah.
on VHS.
This is VHS, by the way.
Yeah.
I love that PJ Souls got billing above Donald Pleasance. Or maybe Donald Pleasance, maybe they save the best for last. you
Maybe.
know. But I love
Okay.
PJ
Cool.
and Jamie.
So
There
we
go.
should.
Pop her in.
So for you young children out there who are watching us, this is called a VHS tape.
What?
So what does that mean? Well, it means it's actually something you hold in your hand, number one. You don't get a code for this. And you put it in what's called a VCR.
And
And,
whoever watched that last was not kind.
oh, look at
Did
that. They did
not
not be kind and
rewind.
rewind. Wow.
Well, I'd like to think that the kids who are watching this probably know what those are. See, I'm trying to stay positive here.
So in the 80s, there was a thing
I just
called,
like to think that there's kids that are still collecting VHS tapes. So.
it was called Be Kind and Rewind. So that did
I
not happen.
remember, yeah, I used to put the little sticker on there.
Awesome.
So we're going to rewind this,
We're going to rewind
gonna
it.
be
Oh, sorry,
kind.
okay.
We're gonna be kind.
Rewind.
Yeah.
and then we're going to
And then we're going to watch it, and then we're going to talk about it.
All right.
So we're going to throw this over to one of our wonderful sponsor folks real quick.
Grab your snacks.
Yeah,
your
grab
blankie,
your snacks.
your stuffy.
Grab her stuffy. Grab her Freddy, and then we'll be back and talk about Halloween.
All right.
How exciting.
Very
All right.
Experience your favorite horror, comedy, and science fiction films of the 70s, 80s, and 90s on the big screen with the Cult Film Series at Roxy 14. Double features Thursdays at 7 p.m. Visit us on Facebook for more information.
All right, well, we did it. We watched Halloween. We're back.
We're back. We're still awake. Our snacks are gone. Freddy's
Okay,
still
Freddy.
here.
I got the Freddy.
You got the
I understand.
Freddy.
Here you
Oh, oh.
I should get you a
We
Michael
can share.
Myers.
We can
we
share.
Can we hold his hand?
You can, yeah.
We have co-custody of Freddy.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So Halloween, Kelly, I think we'll let you start us
Start her off?
because you're the huge Halloween fan. So please.
Well, I'll say in general, it is just. It's an icon of this time of year. I mean, I know my husband and I try and watch it every Halloween as a tradition. I'm sure there's a lot of others out there who do the same. The overall feel of it, just from the music and the sets, it just says Halloween to me.
Okay.
I don't even know where to start. Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
gosh,
I can say, like, for me, you know, I mean, I love the horror movies, right, in general. Halloween, you know, it was funny because we showed it at the Cult series recently, and it's funny when you watch it with other people who laugh at the same parts that I find are a little absurd or don't hold up as well, perhaps.
Sure.
You know, there's, I mean, you know, for me, like, one of the biggest things is about him driving. It's just like, you know, how the heck did Michael Myers learn how to drive? I just want to know. I mean, what was going on with that? You know what I mean? Because he went in obviously when he was a little boy and comes out 15 years later, and then in fact he's like driving for half the movie, like he's, you know, in a lowrider just kind of scoping out chicks, which is how he meets Laurie and Annie, you know, and they're just, you know, walking on the street, and then he's, you know, I feel like I should hear like a little horn start, you know, bum 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 bum, like when he's like cruising down the road or something. But
that would have been a nice touch.
I know. John Carpenter, man, come on. What were you thinking?
No.
Put a horn. Anyway, but so there's little things in there like that you know, I always kind of wonder about. And it's kind of watching with other people, like they were kind of laughing at those same parts.
Oh, interesting.
You know, and it's cool that it's collective, and I mean, everyone loves the movie Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just kind of fun to watch with the crowd, and everyone is having that organic, you know, reaction together, though.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just such a classic, iconic slasher film, and it still has some genuine scares in it. There are some parts that I still find scary. And I think there is actually kind of a deeper subtext to it. I think there's some themes about destiny and fate that are really fascinating. Like when she's in the classroom, Laurie's in the classroom scene, and the teacher's, you know, talking about fate, and Laurie looks out the window and she sees Michael standing there staring at her. So
Right.
I think there is like a little bit of deeper meaning to it.
You can take it on an existential level.
You could, yeah, exactly.
Look into
exactly.
it. Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, Deborah Hill wrote that movie, so she definitely could have probably thought more about than just us males who, you know,
Yeah,
take it more as
there is a little bit of philosophy in it.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah.
Which is cool. We should note that it is cool that a female, a woman,
I love
you know,
that.
had
Love
a
that.
huge piece of that movie, writing and producing and stuff. So I think that's something that should be noted.
Yeah.
That,
I wish that it was something that wasn't so surprising. Oh, a woman, you know.
Right.
I wish it was just kind of.
Yeah, and that's the kind of the thing. Like John Carpenter gets a lot of credit, and not that he's undeserving by any means, because he's not, you know. But
He's
there
not
was
deserving?
also, I mean, I'm saying he is
He is
deserving.
deserving.
So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
what I'm
because
saying
you just
is,
got
like,
a bunch of people mad at
there's
you.
sorry, but there's this
that out.
other
Okay.
part that you know, maybe someone like myself didn't know until recently, that, you know, hey, Deborah Hill also had a very, very big part in
hand in
making
it.
this happen. So.
Yeah, for sure. And it's almost sad that she's not alive to even see, you know, all this cool recognition 40 years later.
Yeah.
Because it has
40
been 40 years.
Yes, this year was.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure when she
40
first got together with John, they made this movie. No one had any idea, obviously, of what it was going to become.
Right.
And it's a shame, actually, that she's not alive to enjoy that success. Even though, I mean, she was alive for obviously a large portion, but not now. Even 40 years later, it's cool that people are because of the new one, are probably discovering this one for the first time.
And like you said, they had no idea what it would become. I kind of wonder when they were making it, what did they have in mind for it? What were their dreams and hopes and aspirations for it to become? You know, was there a part of them that thought like this could become a classic, or were they kind of like, oh, this would be fun, let's just, you know.
Or maybe they were just artists and they
exactly.
had a vision and they had to get it out.
Yeah,
You know,
which I think is
mean-
how most great art is made. And something that I know we've talked about before that we really love is the music, as
Yes.
I mentioned, which is part of why I love it so much. Do you want to hit on that a little bit?
You can keep going.
Look,
I mean, the music is to me probably my favorite part.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd say it's definitely up there.
Like it
Definitely up
it's its own character. It adds, this a whole nother layer to the movie.
and the fact that John
It does get a
Carpenter-
little repetitive towards the end because it, you do hear it a lot, and yet it's still.
But
Great.
sometimes I like
It's
that
still
when a
great.
score repeats itself, because it's sort of like a signal for something about to happen. It's kind of this psychological thing where you hear those notes and it's like, oh, get ready, something scary is going to happen.
Right.
So
Cues you off to what's
it's a cue. Exactly.
what's coming.
Well,
Yeah.
definitely, like, uh-oh.
Yeah, like, ruh-roh.
Something's supposed to happen.
And
you
the
know.
fact that he composed the music,
Yep.
director and composer, which, I mean, how cool is that? Jack of all trades.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
John Carpenter loved his synthesizers,
And
making
his shows constantly sell out. I
Yeah.
mean, people love going to see him live. It's such a cool thing that he's been doing.
I know I should do that sometime he comes around. I haven't done it yet, and I know people
Neither
have.
have I know, and like
Yeah.
like I say, it's people. It always sells
We
out.
call ourselves horror fans, and yet we don't support when they come around like that, So we're
Sad.
we're a bunch of losers.
But yeah, the music is just it's awesome in its simplicity. Like we were saying before, it's not this complex orchestral. John Williams kind of score, which I love.
Right.
John Williams, by the way. But yeah, it is that simple synthesizer.
Beautiful in its simplicity.
Yes. And just the notes themselves are so spooky, and paired with the opening title sequence, it's just
Yeah, no, it's good. It's fun. And,
yeah.
so how about, and I guess we talk Michael Myers himself as a killer. I mean, he started. I guess you can say that he kind of started that genre when it comes of horror with the slashers.
Right.
We'll say for the most part where it became like a mainstream
in
kind
general,
of thing.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, you could
obviously,
debate like, oh, well, this actually came first.
this or
blah,
that,
blah, blah.
exactly.
That-
But I
yeah,
mean, that was
yeah.
what brought things up to the mainstream, and he is one of the big five, we'll call it, between the Jasons and Freddys and Leatherface and those kind of
Yeah.
folks. I mean, it's he's one of those guys, and if you watch, I know we're talking about the first one, because horror fans, when you watch the other ones, it starts to get really weird with Michael Myers. Like what's going on?
Or he might not even be in it.
Right. Well, whatever. But I mean, but if you later on,
But later
he gets shot or whatever, and he's like,
Yeah.
there's like yellow or green coming out of him or whatever, and there's like all kinds of weird like fan fiction-y things that come out, like people are trying to justify what's happening in their heads about maybe maybe he's a robot or maybe this and that,
Yeah.
and, all these
How
things,
is he able to keep coming back?
right, right, yeah.
all these things
exactly.
going on, so it's kind of a anyway, but
But again, that goes back to like the fate and destiny thing. I mean, you can never escape your destiny.
right.
Something that, yeah.
What's his
yeah.
destiny?
Yeah.
Michael Myers' destiny. What is it? Do
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
To
I
get
don't know.
Lori.
Oh, what is his destiny?
Michael Myers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know either, but okay.
Yeah.
You're the
That's up
female in
for
the group,
debate.
so I thought I'd throw it up to you.
That's up for debate. So.
All right. So having him as one of the first slashers, a popular slasher
Right.
trope, we'll call it. It's cool. He got the mask, obviously, which everyone knows, of course, from the lore, was a William Shatner mask that was painted white, basically, and
Yep.
somehow became his iconic mask.
I love the stories of how they put the costumes together. I believe it was Caleb who told us that the fun fact how Jamie Lee Curtis got Laurie's wardrobe from JCPenney's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From J.C.Penney.
From
Yes,
JCPenney's.
yeah.
Where'd you hear
She
that?
was- I read it online, so it must be true.
So
Oh, okay.
it is the gospel truth. Yeah.
I thought because you and Jamie are so close.
But I feel like
you
I
know
have
what we
heard-
are. We bonded over yogurt. No.
Nice.
How are your bowels feeling right now? Are you regular? Oh wait, we were going to talk about your medical history. Forgot about that.
Watch out for the yogurt. Yeah, she's anyway. But Jamie, how about Jamie? Don't we love Jamie? Don't we love Jamie?
We
Lee
love
Curtis?
Jamie.
Amazing.
We love her. We love her. She is an amazing actress who can do any genre, horror, comedy, drama, you name it, she can do it.
And she's a classy dame.
She is.
You know,
She
I mean,
is.
she's a really. I mean, when you see
Talented,
her,
she's beautiful. She's intelligent. She's
done everything.
Has an awesome husband.
yes, she does. One of my all-time favorite movies is Waiting for Guffman.
Yeah,
All-time favorite.
Christopher
yeah.
Guest.
Yes,
of course, Christopher Guest.
Lord
So
Hayden
she's-
Guest.
that's right.
Yes.
She's we love Jamie Lee Curtis.
We
She's
do.
awesome, and she's done
We
so,
do.
so fantastic movies. And we're talking about Halloween, but then you can't forget, of course, she did like the Prom Night and Terror Train,
Freaky Friday.
and the horror things,
Yeah.
and then and then I'm talking about good movies now.
Yeah.
And then
That-
It's a
yeah,
different
me
kind of
too.
horror film.
so but then she went into Trading Places. Right, and then A Fish Called Wanda. And we're talking like, you know,
talking
those are two huge
legit, yeah.
favorite comedies of mine of all time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, so she's
Versatile actress.
yeah, I mean, she's awesome. She knows what she's doing, and then you listen
And she's
to
so
her.
good to the fans too, which
Right.
is really great. Yeah.
And you listen to her now though, and read interviews, listen to her on interviews, you know, and she's just so funny and articulate, and she's down to earth and grounded. I mean,
Yes.
she's,
Yeah.
She's everything that you
Great
want
sense of humor.
someone to
Yeah.
like. You want your child to grow up to be.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
what I mean?
She's badass.
So
yeah.
she's badass.
Or want her to
There
be your mom, or want
Right,
her to,
yeah.
you know, like just you just
Aunt
want a piece of
Jamie.
Jamie. We all just want a piece of Jamie.
you go. So Jamie, please, can you just share yourself with all of us?
Just a piece.
Or come up here to Santa Rosa. You know, we got a space right
beautiful,
here.
I
We'll
know.
move Freddie out of the way.
Oh, well, yeah.
You know, and you can sit, and we'll talk about how cool you are. So, and then
Yes.
what? Donald Pleasance. I know you like Donald
I
Pleasance.
do. Yes, he's a. I mean, just the way that he speaks, you can tell he is a theatrical type of actor. You can just picture him on stage doing Shakespeare with that beautiful diction and that, you know, deep voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just.
He looks
Go.
cool too.
He does look cool. Yeah, he's got his trench coat.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's I don't know. I like I always say, I think he's the one they were probably looking for, someone to put in that role who would help legitimize the movie that they are making. We need that one
Yeah.
experienced person that, you know, so the studio will make the movie, and that, you know, we can get some funding for it or whatever, you know, and we have to tie someone to it. And I don't know, can you imagine like anyone else doing that role other than Donald Pleasance? I mean, I'm sure there's stories of someone,
Right.
people they're looking
other
for.
people that they approached that
Yeah.
said no, or you know, but
Yeah. But I don't know who else lived in Donald.
thank God they all turned it down. You
I know.
'cause-
Or maybe he was the
pretty-
first one. I don't know. If anyone knows, they should let us know.
Yeah, and I feel
know.
like his character is the one that keeps bringing it back to that sort of philosophical kind of thing. How he says he's, you know, purely and simply evil, and
Right.
yeah.
Everything. So, and then he
Yeah.
even went on. I mean, how far did he go into the new movies? Michael, do you know?
He was in all of them.
Okay.
The original ones, except for the remake, the new.
So he was in all of them, like 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Wow.
everyone who heard that
Except for
voice.
3.
Well, of course,
Except
except for
for-
3.
yeah, yeah,
Sorry, he could have been in the mask. You don't know. So, Michael actually is in our studio audience. So in case I didn't,
Yes.
in case Caleb and Kelly didn't see that.
Not Michael Myers.
No, not Michael Myers. It could be though.
I mean-
he looks kind of like William Shatner. So, but
Spitting
Michael, we
image.
actually have a live studio
He's a
audience.
Trekkie, so.
He's a Trekkie. That's right. So Michael's in everything. What's a word for someone
Yes.
who likes all the genres of everything? Is that a thing? What would that
A
be?
cinephile.
A
Yeah,
cinephile?
there you go,
Okay,
there you
there you
go.
go. We'll call Michael a cinephile. But
Genre
Michael actually is one of our
cinephile.
most prized cult film series members of our family, basically.
It's
Michael
a family,
comes.
yeah.
It is a family.
Yes, it is.
We are a great. I like to say we're one big dysfunctional family, but we're actually not. We actually all love each other, and Michael is like #1 fan. He is there no matter what we show.
Yeah.
Every day, we have a film. He's there. And I love you, Michael, because you are like you know, because of you.
Can we
and-
get some like sappy music
I know, right?
playing in the background?
I wish we don't have a camera on Michael because he's in the studio audience, and you know
Yeah.
we're not there yet. But anyway, so Michael is here watching, laughing, hopefully not having a good time. He is tied down, so he can't get away if he wanted to.
Right, he doesn't have a choice. So.
But anyway, so Michael, and we get stuck on something.
He's laughing through the tears right now.
Exactly.
He's our human computer.
Well, you guys talked about Saw earlier. He's kind of got that whole Saw thing going. We got him strapped down.
Oh,
with a helmet on him.
This is
with
actually a
spikes.
game. This is one of Jigsaw's games. Pretty
So-
soon that door's gonna open and he's gonna come riding in on his little trike. Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you, Michael. So
Yeah,
so Donald Pleasance was in all those films. So he was that one piece going through.
And how cool for an actor to stay dedicated to a role and a series like that.
Yes, and an older actor, but I guess at one point when you keep getting the money, it's kind of a right.
Yeah,
It
but I
helps
mean,
also.
like with scheduling, like I imagine it was probably tough, but the fact that he committed to it, I think is really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because recasting is, I mean, we all know how cringy recasting is when they recast a beloved character.
Oh, right,
On
if you
TV
were to-
shows,
yeah.
and, it's always like.
when all of a sudden, Darren on Bewitched looks like a different Darren.
Yeah, yeah.
Or something. I think, did Roseanne have a different daughter at some point
Yeah,
too?
the classic,
had it, yeah.
the Beckys, the
I
Tale
heard.
of Two Beckys.
Yes.
Tale of Two Beckys. Nice. Okay.
Last Man Standing has a new Mandy. I don't know if
I don't know who that
anyone
is.
watches
No,
that.
no
Tim
idea.
Allen sitcom.
No, new Mandy.
Yeah.
Okay. Like
Both Mandys are good, though. They're good.
okay, cool.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Barry Manilow, Mandy.
yeah.
Okay. So Halloween, you know what else things I like about Halloween? I'm going to tell you things I like about it because I don't mean to try and be negative at all. I like the opening shot with the pumpkin.
Love
Or
it.
the title sequence, I should call it. I'm sorry.
The title, yeah.
That's obviously really cool and iconic.
Yeah.
The whole opening scene to begin with the long tracking shot, was really cool.
Point of view.
Yeah, the point of view
Yeah.
thing, but also they're one of the very first films to use the
Steadicam.
the Steadicam. Thank you.
Yeah, we got what you were
I'm
saying.
old. You know what that means, right? When someone's swinging their arm back
gardening
and
hose?
forth.
Like, what
They're
is this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're watering the lawn. No.
Get off my lawn.
So if I ever if I ever had Dean Cundey around here, the cinematographer, someday. There's
Someday,
questions that I would ask him about.
Can you imagine?
Why does he? How did he learn how to drive? The Steadicam thing, like all these cool questions that we need to get answered about
only.
how it happened
Yeah,
and when.
yeah,
So
yeah.
someday, you never know.
Never know. Think
Um,
positive. You never know.
Think positive. Yeah, exactly. So what else like Halloween? Anything else about it? Because I know
The
Caleb.
the costumes. Like I collect vintage clothing. I love fashion history through the ages. So it's got some of that really fun 70s fashion, the high-waisted, wide-leg denim, the little bomber jackets. Lori's got more of her kind of schoolgirl style, little plaid skirt and cardigan. But yeah, I love and PJ Soul's cute 70s hairstyle. She's got like her little pigtails, and so I'm always
PJ's cool.
looking for things like that in films. I'm always watching the costuming and the hair and makeup.
Right.
It's something I always notice right away. So
Do you think it was intentional that Lori gets like hotter as the film goes on? Did you notice that? Have you ever noticed that? Yeah, she's kind of.
she's the bookworm.
I'm not going to say
for lack of a
frumpy
better-
because it's not frumpy in the
Yeah.
beginning, but like the more trauma she goes through, like the lower her button is unbuttoned.
I've honestly never even
kind of
thought
like
about
the
this.
tighter her pants get a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm
Yeah, I
full
think
of
you're-
it.
But yeah, but no, I mean,
Caleb's a sicko, man.
You could read into that and
So-
say that through the course of the film, she's going through these traumatic events, and it's she's having to
Strengthening
mature.
her
She's having to
and,
grow and
you know.
mature and become, the strong woman that she is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's interesting. Yeah.
No one else noticed that.
No,
All
I didn't.
Okay.
I don't know.
I was just excited about her high-waisted jeans. Honestly, I was like, cute. Oh, you're so cute. Like, oh no, she ripped her sleeve. Oh no.
Okay.
Such a girl.
Speaking of this,
Such a
okay,
girl.
here's some of my issues here. Okay.
He's getting frustrated.
Yeah, I
Oh,
want to
no.
I want to bring it up.
Do
Thank
it.
you.
Do it.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm getting the vapors.
That's okay. Okay.
Why? Okay.
That's okay. Yes, let's have a healthy.
They
healthy
Michael
debate.
Myers has several chances where he could get Lori, right? Like one where he's in the closet, and then she doesn't know he's there, and he takes a fresh stab and he grazes her arm. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's the one where he's behind the couch, and she's just sitting there on the couch, unaware, but I guess he's back there, and then he takes another, stab at her. No pun intended. Stab at her, and then thank you for that.
It took me a second.
And he
It's sort of
completely
delayed.
whiffs, and he just gets the couch.
Do you know why?
And the couch didn't even do anything to him.
Do you know why?
What?
All right. Do you remember when we were kids and we used to play tag, and you didn't want to get tagged, and you'd call Shields?
No, what?
You don't remember that?
Shields? I didn't know there were shields.
Shields and tag. I know Shields and Yarnell, but not Shields. You know Shields and Yarnell?
I think Lori
No.
called Shields.
What is that?
Yarnell.
Educate me. This is
Shields and
educating
Yarnell,
Kelly.
they're the mime, the brother, sister, I think, or husband, wife, I can't remember exactly, from the mime troupe. Shields and Yarnell.
I know Coco the Clown.
Look it up, people. Shields and Yarnell. You'll see. They're like maybe been on the Muppet Show.
Do you know
once
Coco
even.
the Clown?
Coco the Clown.
From
No.
Nickelodeon.
I think we were a little old for.
You keep saying that,
This was
Caleb.
like
You keep
80s
saying we're too
though.
old.
This was 80s. Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying, I don't. In the what 80s? The late 80s?
Early. This is when I was in like preschool, so.
Right. So
Okay.
Yeah.
we weren't watching
You weren't watching
Sesame Street
Pinwheel or
and
Today's Special
Romper
or
Room and The Electric Company anymore.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Mr.
Okay. Okay.
Rogers?
So back, you guys are trying to change the subject on me now.
We're getting nostalgic.
I want to know.
So let's get nostalgic.
So Michael has those
Anyway.
chances. He's able to like do other magical things, you know, like drive a car without being taught how to drive a car.
Magical things.
And
Kill other people.
You're a
very,
wizard, Michael.
he picks up
Very easily.
he picks up PJ's boyfriend and then
Yeah.
stabs him. He picks him up easily, stabs him,
Yeah.
So
into the
hard
wall so he can't
that he
move.
hangs.
So he hangs there, and then
Evil knows no bounds.
right. So I'm saying, but then I know those little things kind of irritate me.
Okay.
Is what I'm going to say
Just the-
because
the-
he can't do other things easily, and then all of a
unrealistic.
sudden have free shot at the main gal, and then like miss her twice.
Okay.
That kind of thing. I find issue with that, I guess, and I know
Yeah.
it's an easy way to just have her be in peril, but not actually, end the story of the movie.
Right, and the movie, completely
you
in the
know,
movie
so-
right then and there. Yeah.
And I think maybe I'm just,
It wasn't her fate.
it was
It
not
was
her
not
fate.
her fate.
Okay. I don't know, I just want to. If anyone had any thoughts on that, but no, if not, then we'll move on. So be it.
Like I said, I think, like I was saying, evil has no bounds. There's
Or no aim.
or no evil,
Evil has no aim.
and
Well, it does
and
up
it
to
wasn't.
a point. Like,
Yeah.
you can kill 5, but then you got to stop there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I
He
don't know.
hit his-
I don't know if my number is.
He made his
quota.
he made his quota for the day.
The tag
so,
news
yeah.
with the night he came home and missed, or something. But,
Yeah.
but anyway,
But
I'm glad
again,
because I love
it
Jamie.
is a movie, and we didn't want to end the movie too soon.
That's
so
right.
We
I
had
know.
to,
I mean,
we had.
obviously, yeah. But I'm just saying, there's those little things in there like that, But
Yeah.
He always planned it as a trilogy.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. What
Where do you-
about the locations? Pasadena.
okay.
Where else?
Pasadena that had to pass for East Coast. No, Ohio. Sorry, not East Coast. Ohio, right?
Illinois, Haddonfield.
Illinois.
Yeah,
Illinois.
Haddonfield. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which
Thank you.
I mean, I just love that classic looking neighborhood, which is the trees and the hedges and the old houses,
Mm-hmm.
and, which I mean, back then weren't old, but you know what I mean.
Well, even back
You
then
know
they could have
what I
been,
mean.
and of
Yeah.
course all
They
the
might have been.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
in the leaves that were not
That were
part
fake,
that
you
they
know,
were
'cause
fake.
They were filming in the spring and
Fake
had trouble
leaves,
finding pumpkins and
Yeah.
bought fake leaves from a craft store and painted them
Movie
red,
magic.
orange, and yellow.
Yeah, I mean, that's the
movie
cool thing, movie
magic,
magic,
yeah.
making it work.
And
so.
then having to collect them all after a shot and move them somewhere else for the next
Can you
shot
imagine?
because they only had
Yeah.
so many. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
so
That's cool, like independent, low budget
Right.
filmmaking.
where there's a will, there's a way.
Get it done, absolutely.
Exactly.
So I mean,
Exactly.
so give it up to them for making what is one of the most successful independent films of all time.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're here. We are talking about it 40 years later,
I know.
and it may not hold up in every regard, or that I think some people think it does. In my opinion, obviously,
But it doesn't have to hold up. It doesn't have to hold up. Because it's like a tradition, like I was saying, you watch it every Halloween. And
Right. But it is a classic, and it
is a
is a
classic.
job well done by everyone involved making an independent film.
Yeah.
And it started a whole genre.
And look at how and
it's
it's
an
a
icon.
franchise. Look how it's grown. I mean,
Exactly.
my gosh, it's
So-
merchandise, movies.
I mean, a budget of $300,000,
Wow.
which even back then wasn't a lot for a movie.
No, I know. It's
Yeah.
Um,
yeah.
But in 1970, we'll call it 7 when they were filming
Somewhere
it
when
or
they were
whatever,
filming,
maybe,
yeah.
and it's, yeah, I mean, 300,000 is enough to make a movie, but
Yeah.
not to make a high end.
But
you
I'm
know.
saying they
Yeah.
had to do workarounds and figure things out because it wasn't like they had, studio backing where they could just throw money at the problem. They
Right.
had to figure it out. So that's
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
Yeah.
it is. They got
And
it
it's
done.
not flashy. I mean, obviously there's no CGI.
No,
you
for
know.
sure.
Yeah.
But no, there's scenes that are well done in regards
Yeah.
to Michael Myers coming out of darkness and
Yes,
laying on the
yeah.
floor and then sitting up and all these cool
right.
iconic things. There's no question. I mean, it's got
Lighting.
cool
yeah,
stuff in
yeah.
it. So I guess again,
Yeah.
the artistic execution of the movie, I think was done very, very, very well
Yeah.
for what they were
Yeah.
doing. For sure. So
You just kind of wish
Give
that there
it
was a
up
bit
to 'em.
more logic to it.
yeah, I just again, I just,
Yeah.
and I don't want some big, stalking killer guy who can do all these other cool things suddenly just all of a sudden the miss.
Okay,
when
okay,
there's someone
yeah.
right in front of you. It's just I find it a little insulting. How's that?
You're offended.
But I'm offended. I'm offended. You missed her.
You're triggered.
Come on,
Neil
you're better
was
than that,
triggered,
Michael.
Yeah.
But anyway, just go.
But maybe there's something about Laurie that brings out his weaknesses.
Maybe
When he finds, yeah.
Who knows?
So happy Halloween, everyone.
Yeah, happy Halloween.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
happy Halloween. 40 years. Happy 40th
Blockbuster
anniversary.
Presents,
I know.
too.
I don't know
Look
where I
at
got that
that.
tape from. Oh well.
Very
And
Awesome.
hopefully you've gone out and seen the new one too. So.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm sure lots of people did because as we know it did
A
pretty
lot of
well.
people did. It did very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good flick.
Well, I need to go send a fax. So
You need to send the facts.
Oh.
Okay.
I think I might step out and go do that. But
And I need to go to. I need to go to
probably
the
be right
mall.
back.
I need to go to Contempo Casuals and get an Orange Julius.
Really?
that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. So they're in the middle of
Can
our
you get
show.
Me one?
Yeah.
I,
Just original.
no.
orange?
I really like the strawberry.
Okay. You got it. You want a Cinnabon too? A little extra. We're gonna go extra here.
I'm trying to cut back on carbs.
Okay, I'll get it.
so-
I'll get a mini
If you want
bun.
to split one,
Yeah, we'll split one. I'll get extra frosting.
Yes.
Yeah, the little cup. Yeah.
Definitely.
Gee,
Okay.
Okay, fine. Right in the middle of the
Do you
show.
want- do you want
Go
anything?
ahead.
I just I really need to send this fax.
No one even uses fax anymore. What are you talking about?
But
But fine, hurry,
You know,
just do
just
it.
calm
Hurry
down.
up, hurry up.
All right.
You
Do
need
what
your
you gotta
blankie.
do.
I'll go to Emporium and get you a blankie. And
You
we'll
just
make
never
it all
know.
better.
I mean, go ahead, do what you gotta
want
do.
in on this Orange Julius order?
Yeah, you want to get in on this?
No, I'm fine, thank you. I have water. You guys go, do what you gotta do. Leave me here by myself. I'll just, I'll keep everyone
right.
occupied. That's fine. Thank you.
Bye.
You can take the mic with you if you want.
Thank you. Do you want me to take Freddie?
Yes, please take Freddie with you. It'll be fine. That's fine. I'll just put that down here and wait for you.
Bye.
All right, maybe we'll take a hot dog from Orange Julius.
Hot dog on a stick?
Yeah, that too. I wonder who that could be.
Hey.
Dean Cundey,
Yep.
legendary cinematographer of The Thing, Halloween, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park. What are you doing here?
Well, actually, I heard that you have a Pac-Man here. And you know how long it's been since I played Pac-Man? So I came to,
All right, come on in.
well, thanks.
Let's have some fun.
Let me get the door.
Thank you. So, Dean, thanks for coming in today.
Ah.
I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I look forward to our Pac-Man tournament a little bit later on.
Well, that's obviously why I'm here.
Of course. No.
Yeah.
We'll get down to that Pac-Man. I just had maybe one or two quick questions for you
Okay.
before we start. So, Halloween.
Yeah.
I know you've heard of it. 40th anniversary this year.
Yeah, it's a
I
big-
heard you had a little something to do with it even.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious, what is it like knowing that you were a part of something that is so iconic? There's been fan favorite for 40 years now, basically. Just, people love it. The new film came out. People are rediscovering the old one now. I think the original, that probably had never seen it before. Just kind of curious, what's it like for you?
Well, it was one of my early films. I had done maybe a dozen low-budget movies. But it was a film that was significant for all of us involved, because obviously for John it was a big step, for myself, was a big step. And of course, you never know when you make a film if it's going to be a success. Will anybody go see it? Well, it's even more rewarding when the film not only gets seen by a bunch of people, and then a bunch more people and a bunch more, but it's iconic. It stays around for 40 years. I have little kids come up to me, not at all born at the time. Maybe their parents weren't even, and they come up and say, "Oh, I love that film. It's the first film my parents let me watch," or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's an amazing thing to have been part of something like that stays around and has resonated with so many people.
Right. And then, if I remember, the Steadicam was that was the first. Was that the first movie to use it? You guys created a contraption that kind of emulated that, I guess, maybe an early version.
Well, there was a guy, Garrett Brown, who invented this rig after a great deal of experimentation and inventing and stuff that enabled us, or anybody, to move the camera in ways that hadn't been done before, very smoothly, steadily. You can handhold a camera, and it was done quite a bit, where the operator holds it, and as he walks along, his body movement gets transferred, so the image goes like this. Well, the Steadicam was invented to get rid of that so that the camera would just float anywhere a guy could walk. And it had been used for a couple of shots on previous movies, Bound for Glory or whatever. But John was intrigued by the fact that it could give the camera the audience's point of view, because that's what, of course, the camera is. It's the audience watching whatever it is. I was completely intrigued by the prospect of doing that also. So with my camera operator, Ray Stella, we went to Panavision, where this piece of equipment was, being developed, and we practiced moving with it through the parking lot. There's film online somewhere on the internet that shows all of this practice that we did.
Really?
Yeah. It's fascinating because it's just a couple of guys walking around the parking lot, but it was the beginning of a revolution in how the camera could be moved and how it could tell a story.
Wow.
So we used it, and the opening shot of Halloween was the most elaborate Steadicam Panaglide shot done at the time, and since then a lot of people have seen the value of the thing.
For sure.
And
Robert Altman made a lot of use out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Brian De Palma, for sure.
Hey, absolutely. There's it's become sort of a standard piece of equipment to carry on a show now, so that you can do shots that hadn't been done before but are very, very storytelling.
Right.
We were all just sort of learning how to use the equipment, but also making films that were effective in storytelling.
Yeah.
So
nice.
it became a tool for us to do that.
Wow. How about the scene? And you talked about this before, I know, but I love to hear it because innovation to me is just so much fun to hear from the guy who did the actual innovating. With Michael in the closet, where you have the little dimmer turn on slowly for the bulb to the audience can see him.
Yeah, that was a great sort of inspiration by John of Jamie Lee as Laurie Strode thinks she's escaped. She hides in the corner, relaxed, and there's this dark spot and a dark closet off to one side, and you're looking at the scene and saying, I wonder what that dark closet's about. And then with a spotlight just on Michael's face and a dimmer that would allow me to just bring it up very slowly. John said he wanted the audience to feel like their eyes were getting used to the dark, that somehow they could see Michael Myers and Jamie didn't. And so that was sort of what I came up with, and it was, it's really sort of an iconic moment in the film.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ended up being, I would say it was perfect, actually.
Oh, well.
Exactly what the film needed right then.
Thank you very
So
much.
that was good on you for that one. Thank you.
Oh, well, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, I'd like to say I did it all myself, but
We'll stop right there.
I always have help.
Yes. It does take a village, I guess, as they say.
Absolutely.
But, I was always wondering, and maybe you can answer this for me. How did Michael Myers learn to drive? I'm just curious. Was there ever any kind of more development with that? Or
Well, in my mind, right, they had this sort of vocational training at the hospital. And they thought that they were going to train him to be a pizza delivery guy or something. So they taught him how to drive, but he had different plans. He wasn't going to cut up the pizza
Right.
with that knife.
Right. He was.
He had other.
I don't know. I feel like I could just sit here and just want to talk to you for hours about Halloween and Michael Myers, but
Oh.
I won't do that to you.
Okay.
But did you see the new film?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Do you plan on
yeah,
it?
And I don't know if there are any theaters around.
We might be able to find you one.
Okay.
You never know.
That would be great.
If you're interested.
Because I would, I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I would really love to see it as, out of morbid curiosity and to
Right.
see how what we did has been interpreted,
Yes.
reinterpreted, and so forth.
And there's they definitely did took some of what you did, from the original film and used that in the new one as basic cues for people who love the first film, for the fans.
Well, that's good.
They used music cues. They definitely did a lot of camera shots and things that were
That's
spot
good.
on.
Well, that's the kind of thing that I find, what would you say, rewarding or whatever, because if you've done that in a film and somebody appreciates it and they like to call it back, or reuse it, it's kind of a great compliment, I think.
Right. Did you have any idea about the score, musical score, while you were shooting? Like, did John give any hint of what was coming up? Because I know that
No.
obviously is a huge part of the film.
No, at the time, I knew that John was planning to score it because he had a serious musical background and, of course, couldn't afford anyone else. But we had no idea. And then when I heard it, it was a very innovative score, 5/4 time for you music folks, that made it not rhythmical. It was a little off-putting. It was a little strange. So the rhythm was different than conventional music, and of course there was a lot of use of the synthesizer and
Right.
the electronic.
Which he loves, of course.
Oh yeah, the electronic music that was being developed at the time.
Right. Wow. It's awesome. Now, you also did, of course, with John, The Fog and The Thing and Escape from New York and Big Trouble in Little China,
Right.
which is one of my favorites of all time, Big Trouble in Little China.
Very good.
So that poster's on my wall, which you actually signed once. I don't know if you recall that or not, but so it's on my
Yeah.
wall.
Oh, okay.
So at least some guy looking like you signed it.
That could be. There's some guy going around.
Is there?
Oh, yeah.
Is there? Okay. Well, we'll look for him.
Yeah.
So I guess just working with John must have been, I'm assuming, a huge, rewarding, fun part of a career.
Yeah, you know what?
I mean, can only imagine.
I have to, I like I say, I'd done like a dozen or so movies, low-budget action films, before working with John. And I was always frustrated that they were, not really using the camera for visual storytelling. It was like a device to record actors talking, and then something blows up. And so John was the first director I worked with who had the same sensibilities about visual storytelling, using the camera to tell the story, to take an audience, on the journey, to show them things that create emotional reaction as opposed to just showing them things. And so it was a great experience working with him, and each film we got further involved in creating visual storytelling.
All right. So I'm sorry, Pacman. I promise.
Yeah,
But I promise. I promise.
Okay.
I got to touch on just then, of course. I mean, Back to the Future is a huge part of this world as well, as we all know.
Yeah.
Was it Robert Zemeckis found your tie-in for that, or Steven Spielberg? Just how did that?
No,
how did you get attached?
It was Bob Zemeckis. I had worked with him on Romancing the Stone.
Okay.
Bob Zemeckis and Bob Gale had written a script previously, which I guess they thought was going to be too expensive, or they were new guys or whatever. So they pulled it out of the bottom drawer and said to Universal, here's the script. And Universal said, oh, that sounds interesting. So they had to rewrite it down a little bit because it, again, it was a big budget, and we had medium budget. But it was a great adventure because once again, I mean, as Bob Zemeckis is great at, making movies about stuff that people haven't made movies about yet. And that's what intrigued me with the film business in the first place. As a kid, I was just amazed by how these people could make a movie that took us on a journey somewhere you couldn't go in real life.
Right.
And that's what intrigued me about film. And so I was, of course, immediately intrigued by Back to the Future, because obviously it took us on a journey we couldn't really do.
Yeah, a big journey, heck of a journey.
It was. It
Wow.
was, and it's the kind of film that was, I think, interesting to an audience, because who wouldn't want to go back and fix something
Right.
went
Yeah.
wrong, or where you were sorry for, or whatever. So, and especially since Michael J. Fox was such an appealing,
Yes.
boyish fellow, you immediately bought into the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, again, another one of those films that you don't know what's coming, and then it just kind of hits you over the head, and
Yeah, exactly.
now here you are again, 30 some odd years later, and it's still, I mean, as great a film as it was day one.
Yeah,
So,
still fascinates
Yeah.
audiences that are way past the time period when
I mean,
the movie was
what
made.
is it like being you? All these great films that you had a huge piece of making happen. I mean, and I don't know. I just can't imagine. I mean, I'm happy when I can cook an egg.
Yeah.
And yet, but yet
Well-
here you are, making these wonderful
Well,
films that are just huge.
I do wish I could say I did it all myself, but there were an awful lot of people who
Right.
contributed, and I was a piece of the puzzle. But it's fun to be a piece of those kinds of puzzles that I've been all kinds of places in the world, and anywhere you go, there's somebody who has seen one of the films that I was lucky to be a
yeah.
part of.
Yeah.
So that's very kind of rewarding and satisfying,
Yeah.
kind of feeling.
So, I've always kind of wanted to know this. I'm going to ask. It's a little bit of gossip, but I just got to know. I mean, Roger Rabbit, is he as kooky as he was on film, or is that kind of just like that's kind of his shtick?
You do know that Roger was a cartoon character.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've seen the movie. I know he's a
Yeah.
cartoon, but I mean,
Okay, but
what was he like to work with though?
No, he doesn't really exist. He was drawn with a pencil on paper, and
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So then Jessica Rabbit. I mean, you got she's the body, and then her voice sounds like Kathleen Turner from the '80s. I mean, it was pretty incredible.
okay, once again, she didn't really exist. She was the imagination of some incredible artists, and they drew her, and she's nowhere. She doesn't exist.
Okay. All right. Well, we will agree to disagree on that one.
Okay.
So
Fine.
that's
Right.
fine. I get you. Oh boy, nothing but trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge Dan Aykroyd fan.
Uh-huh.
I love Dan Aykroyd. From
Interesting.
Blues Brothers to Coneheads to everything in between. I was just kind of, that movie was, I remember being very excited to see it. and then kind of when it was over, going, that was interesting. What the heck was going on in that movie?
Yeah,
So
no, it was
did you get that script, and that's what the script was, or was it like by the time it was done?
pretty much so. You know, it was a first of all, I love Dan as a a performer. When they said, would I like to work with him, I said, well, of course, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
And the script was very, very off-center, very uniquely and unusually, inventive. So when I was invited to do it, I thought, whoa, what a great opportunity. And then Dan and I had conversations about how we were going to give it a very interesting visual style, funny, and the camera work would enhance the very, very off-center characters and situation. But it was a little frustrating because Dan kept getting notes from the studio, but where are the close-ups, and how come, the camera, and shouldn't you, and we were started to be pulled back from the really interesting, what I thought was going to be interesting, zany visual style. And so as a result, it had to exist on just the characters. And I'm always sorry that it wasn't a bigger hit because, it was a unique view of characters and story.
Well, I think it's coming up on is it the 25th anniversary, or maybe just passed? I mean, some kind of milestone type
Well,
anniversary. And I'm thinking about it because I love Dan, and that movie. I think it's one of those films that when it comes back around and maybe some people start talking about it, bloggers start doing what they do.
That's one of the things I find interesting about some of the films I've worked on, is that when they were first released, they weren't instantaneous hits. Big Trouble in Little China, even the first week of Halloween, it was like people went to see the movie and said, this is interesting. The second week, there was a bigger crowd. The third week, a bigger crowd. And it was word of mouth, people saying, hey, you have to go see this movie. So there are movies like that aren't instantaneous hits with an audience that eventually people re-examine them and say, we overlooked how exciting or funny or whatever.
Yeah.
The Thing, for instance, has gained a cult favorite audience. And
Yes.
So I like to think that the audiences eventually become perceptive about, a film that was in advance of its time.
Right.
And I feel sort of redeemed.
Hey, so you ready for the lightning round?
Okay.
We're going to do a quick, couple quick questions, and then Pacman's all ready to go.
All right. Okay, I'll go for it.
Okay, the lightning round.
Yeah.
Let's see how you do. Ketchup or mustard?
Mustard, if it's Dijon. French.
Dijon mustard.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a point for you.
All right.
Mustard. Paper, rock, or scissors?
I like scissors.
Scissors.
Because they are a creative tool. You can cut the paper into shapes.
Daring answer.
And of course, you can stab people with it.
You could do that also. All right. I'm going to give you the point on that just so that I don't end up on the bad side of your scissors.
Okay.
Favorite Stephen? Hawking, King, or Spielberg?
Oh, well, for me, that's pretty simple. Spielberg.
Spielberg. Okay.
He's a great visual storyteller, which is what I enjoy doing. And he has invented so much of the storytelling, the visual camera work and stuff that we see now that's so effective. So I would have to go with Spielberg.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh, good.
Point to you.
All right.
Nice job. All right, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming over.
Well, it was
fantastic.
My pleasure.
All right. We'll get your Pacman going now. You ready?
Yeah, well, let's get going.
All right. Let's get your paddles. Lay it on me. So, you guys just missed Dean Cundey. You go to Orange Julius in the middle
What?
of our show, and you missed
What?
Dean Cundey came by. He used our fake door right over here to get in.
I didn't even know that thing opened.
I know, you guys didn't even use it on your way out.
I thought that just went into like the nether world.
I know, we'll have to make a camera so people can see that.
Oh my god.
Well, they saw it.
It's just a boiler room back there. But
Yeah, you know, it's our...
are
but
you
it's-
just mad that we left? Are you making this up?
No, I'm serious. Dean Cundey.
No.
Like, you guys walked
He's
out...
just mad that we came back sans Julius. You don't
and you didn't bring me
anything.
one. I didn't get my
know.
hot dog either.
The line was crazy
You
long, I'm
leave,
sorry.
and then immediately Dean Cundey shows up and knocks on our door and comes in. And we played Pac-Man.
well,
We
who
played
won?
Pac-Man.
Who
Oh,
won?
well, Dean kicked my ass. But but it's okay. But that man's a Pac-Man. He got Pac-Man fever.
seriously, he
got
beat you?
Pac-Man
He
fever.
beat you?
He beat me. He beat me raw, man. It was-
Man, that must have hurt. That must have hurt. I
hurt.
know, that's like...
Oh, it's not
Yeah,
good. Do
yeah.
you? I'm sorry.
What?
You get beat at Pac-Man often?
If you're gonna be
Yeah,
beat,
sure.
you might as well be by Dean.
I
so.
mean, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Dean is he is an awesome guy, and Dean,
Yeah.
thank you very much for coming by and doing that with us. It was freaking cool. You are a great man. So thank you.
Did you get your questions
But-
answered?
Yeah, you know,
See, I told you, if you think positive,
you think positive and things happen, right?
believe in your dreams. and they
So
will
he
come
had.
true.
Well, you didn't see it, but everyone else who listened
Yeah.
and saw it did. That I now know why Michael Myers can drive, but you missed it because you had to get an Orange Julius.
Wow.
So, all I can say for that is, oh well, I guess. But or go back and watch the episode when we're done. How's that?
Say, yeah.
So
Maybe it was fate.
maybe
No, I think
It was destiny.
It was.
Destiny turned on the radio, and then remember that movie, Quentin Tarantino, back from like
Destiny Turned on
'95.
the Radio?
Yeah. No. Okay.
What's it? What movie?
That's what it's called. Destiny turned on the radio.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, go look it up. So we're out of time.
sorry, Quentin.
We're out of time.
Did he just get
And with
married?
that plug.
Did
Sorry.
he?
I think so.
I have no
I think
idea.
he just got married.
I don't know.
Quentin.
Oh yes, he did.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah.
Did you go? Did he bite you?
I did go. It was very nice.
How was
a
it?
lot
Was
of
it
fun.
good wedding?
Yeah. Well, you got to see Dean. I got to go to the wedding. So.
That's right.
Good.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I really
That's a good
didn't go.
trade-off.
And I got to go to the mall. So it's
That's
like,
right.
So,
That too, I
Like
read on
Turbo.
the internet.
So we ran out of time to play the horror trivia game.
I know.
So we'll do it on the
yes.
next one,
So
though.
We'll save that for next.
We'll do it on the next one. And otherwise, next time we're going to be talking, or we'll be watching, excuse me, Creep Show. Creep Show.
Nice.
My favorite horror movie of all time is Creep Show.
Number one favorite.
Number one favorite of all
Yes.
time. So we'll talk
favorite
about that.
movie of all time, or just horror genre? Movie?
Horror movie, yes. But it's in my top
Like
3 or 4 of all time as well.
Nice.
So, but we'll
Alright.
cover all that on the next episode. So I want to thank anyone and everyone, but anyone who might be watching or
Anyone.
listening, thank you very much. We hope you had a fun time. We're going to come back and do this as long as we possibly can, and you know, just keep having more fun.
That's
talking
right.
about these awesome movies and music and anything in between. How about Caleb? Good for you?
That'll do, pig.
That'll do,
Nice.
pig. Perfect
Well,
ending
signing
words.
off, I'm Kelly Hittman, your ghostess hostess with the mostest, the spookiest, and the kookiest.
And my name is Neil Perlmutter. I don't even think I ever said that, but that is my name, in case you care to know.
It only took the whole
So,
episode, but
there
we
you go.
finally got it.
Surprise! I know everyone's hanging on.
Yeah.
Who is that guy?
That was the big reveal.
Yes. yes.
This is Caleb. Thanks for watching, everyone.
All right, guys. We'll see you
Appreciate
next
it.
time. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Kelly's holding my Freddy.